All right, guys. So we're going to start off with some Patreon requests, and as you can see, I am currently at Site B, so as I call it. But we're going to be doing some Patreon requests this week, today, and yeah. So as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the second tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, let's get started. So this Patreon request comes from John McKinney, who asked me to talk about video games that deserve sequels. Like that's the big thing. Like that's what we're going to talk about today is video games that I always felt deserved sequels that never really got them. And yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of games I really enjoyed that really deserved like proper sequels. Starting off, this was the one that really came to mind, was the canceled franchise that was supposed to be Dante's Inferno. I know it got a remaster, but that doesn't count here. Um, Dante's Inferno was really hyped up to be the next big thing. Like I remember, all the talk for Dante's Inferno, and they even there was even an animated film. If you guys remember, there was like a anime film where they would have different anime artists do different sections of hell, and I thought that was kind of cool. I still own that DVD, by the way. Do you remember that, by the way? Just on a minor note, do you guys remember when they did that? When like they did video like these mini movies for certain games like Dead Space Downfall or Turok, when they did that animated Turok movie. I think also, yeah, Van Helsing, even though it didn't get a video game, it got a animated prequel too. Um, yeah, I just thought that just made me realize it. But yeah, Dante's Inferno left off on a sequel note. That was kind of the big thing, was that it built itself as a sequel to this series, and it basically was going to be like the rest of the Divine Comedy, which we would have first hell, then purgatory, then heaven. So I'm sure I was very curious to see what purgatory was going to look like. I was very curious to see what you know, limbo, or is limbo purgatory. It's the same thing, even though in the Divine Comedy, it is said that like purgatory, the first ring of hell is purgatory, but it has been disputed every so often. So whatever. Um, so I would have loved to have seen more. Excuse me. Excuse me. So I would have loved to have seen more of Dante's Inferno and more of that universe explained, because I feel like that game had so much potential, but everyone just called it a God of War ripoff, which it kind of was, let's be honest. But I think it had enough like story and of a universe behind it that I feel like it could have carried itself, honestly. Anyway, so next up, um, the next one I would say that deserves a sequel is Brutal Legend. Brutal Legend was so much fun. If you were a metal fan, you absolutely loved this series. Brutal Legend was such a great um, love for the genre, and I mean, it wouldn't be hard to get Jack Black back, um, but you now open the door to like more metal artists to be part of the band, to be part of this, like Johan. I can't remember everyone who was in that band in that game, but I think like the ones I'm going to mention like would be really cool to see them. Um, I would love to see Randy Blythe from Lamb of God, or the lead singer of Lorna Shore. Not, I know it's not Randy Blythe doing both, but I can't remember the lead singer of Lorna Shore's front man at the moment. So, lead singer of Lorna Shore. I would love to see, you know, um, man, I'm forgetting her name. Alyssa from Arch Enemy. Love to see Baby Metal just for some variety. Um, Johan Hegg from Amon Amarth. He'd be cool in this game. Um, I would also really truly love to see like um, Yeah, I think the game was just so much fun, and I'm shocked it never got a sequel because I know it made really good numbers. Like maybe it was just too expensive with all the voice actors, but who knows? But Brutal Legend is another one I would really love to see get a sequel. Following that, I know there it is part of a game series, but let's be real, guys. We all want it the end, and we all want like the Transformers Cybertron series to have a proper third game, right? Not this Rise of Darkspark crap. Um, that deserves a proper ending. This Rise of Darkspark thing was bullshit. It was made from assets from a third game that the studio got bought out from, and then they just made it into something else. God, it was a mess. So a proper end to the Cybertron series would be really cool. So I know that game already has two in its under its belt, but if I'm being honest, nothing was said about having a not sequels. Didn't have to be like the direct sequel to one game. So I want a proper end to that Transformers trilogy. For God's sakes, I just need it. Another game that needs a sequel, Killer Instinct. Yeah, the new Killer Instinct series needs a new sequel. I've kind of felt like it started off really strong and then it just died off. Maybe it was just because of, corporate greed, which I wouldn't be shocked. But still, I think Killer Instinct needs one. Oh, another fighting game that desperately needs a sequel. Maybe call it like a legacy sequel. Primal Rage. Primal Rage has been dying for a new sequel. Like, for God's sakes, can we just get not even make, like, I would settle for a remake, but how cool would it be to have like a legacy sequel to Primal Rage? Like, how cool would it be as a franchise to have that as a direct sequel? I think that's a really solid idea. Maybe bring in new monsters, maybe the ones that we were supposed to get, like Slash Fang and a few others. I think that would be really cool. So yeah. Oh, new Darkstalkers game. Like a Darkstalkers sequel would be really nice. I know we just use Darkstalkers whenever we're making a crossover game these days, but kind of really nice. I mean, Street Fighter gets 6 games now, and Darkstalkers still has a massive fan base. How about, would it be too hard to just make a new Darkstalkers game? Come on. For others, I would probably I know we're probably going to get it at some point, but I'm just kind of waiting for it. Injustice 3. I think, again, this one out of all of them seems the most likely that we're going to get. So I would probably, it's probably going to be that, it's probably going to come at some point. We just don't know when, because the Warner Brothers situation is kind of crazy. So, but I do think at some point we are going to genuinely get a new, out of all of these, this is probably the most likely. For another, I would say a new Infamous game or Prototype. Yeah, Prototype 3. I know Prototype 2 kind of ended the story, but I would not be opposed to Prototype 3. And also Infamous deserves a new game too, because they left on a cliffhanger in 2. I know we got that Vampire What If DLC, but still, I mean, I would really like to have a new Infamous or Prototype. Just, throw me a freaking bone here, guys. Anyway, so those are just a few games that I think deserve sequels. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think? What video games do you think deserve sequels? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, I would like to thank John McKinney for this Patreon request. And yeah, like I said, if you'd like to have a Patreon request done yourselves, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the second tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.